Hey y'all, welcome to my cooking show. This is a brand new thing. I've never done it before. I always use a recipe whenever I'm cooking, and I'll give you the reference to this book that I have. It's actually called Homemade Bread edited by Neil Nichols. And I have a story behind this book because I actually got it way back when my husband and I were first married. Some guy was going around selling cookbooks as a means of trying to raise money for some kind of a building he was building. It was like a skating rink, and of course we loved skating, and it was down near Lake Wales, and now there's a big building there that got started but never got finished, so I guess he didn't sell enough books. But I benefited because this has got some of the best bread recipes I've ever had in my life. And one of my favorite is the banana bread, and I recently bought this Pampered Chef stoneware pan at a garage sale for $3, and I have never used it, so this will be my first try. I always start off with 3 bowls, and I know it sounds ridiculously hard, but it's not. I have a big bowl, a medium bowl, and a small bowl. And in my recipe book, I actually put on there what to put in each one, because in the beginning I would forget. So we're gonna start off by sifting together some flour, baking powder, salt, and baking soda in the medium-sized bowl. And then we're gonna mash the bananas in the small bowl. And then we will add some lemon juice and mix. And then in the big bowl, we'll start creaming them all together, putting the dry mix in with some milk and mixing it together, and then we'll fold in the banana mixture at the end. So that's the whole process. We'll stick it in the pan, of course, and cook it, and it bakes for about an hour normally, but I've never done it in this size pan, so I'm gonna have to watch it a little more closely. So here we go. I will get it started, and then I'll get back to you in a few minutes. So you have to sift the flour, and you need 3.5 cups of all-purpose sifted flour. And I actually have a measuring cup that I just keep in my flour because it makes it easier to measure. And so I recently lost my sifter, so I'm just gonna use, I'm gonna just use this, oops, there's 2. Yeah, see, I'm just gonna use this to sift it. What are these things called? Strainer. All right, I'm gonna use my strainer to sift it. We're also going to sift my baking powder, salt, and soda. Make sure you don't get the soda and the baking powder mixed up. So, because you want 3 teaspoons of baking powder. As soon as I can get the lid off. I do have a bit of neuropathy in my hands, so it makes it a little bit harder. I take this, make sure you level it really good. 3 of those. And then we're gonna have 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, I like to pour it over the sink so that if I miss or fill it too full, then I can shake it out and I don't get it into my mix, because it's hard to pull it out once you got it in there. And then 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Yes, baking soda. Like I said, don't get them mixed up. If you get them mixed up, it's not gonna work right. Okay, and that's how we sift it. So this is how you can sift using a strainer if you don't have a sifter, and it will save 1 extra thing in your counter. It's actually pretty easy, pretty fast. That's how I do it. All right, so that's all sifted. The next thing we're gonna do is mash the bananas with a rotary beater, and we'll add lemon juice and mix that up as well. Now, some people might look at these bananas and think it's time to throw them away, but when they get brown like this, that's the best time to use them for banana bread. And you need between 4 and 6, and since those are really dark, I'm gonna use 6 altogether, and I'm just gonna stick them all in here in this bowl, and I will mash them all up. And you need about 2 cups of mashed bananas. you ever have trouble opening a banana, you can always open it from the other end. So in case you're wondering why I have so many overripe bananas, it's because recently we went to Bartlesville to an Airstream rally, and they had the town of Bartlesville was putting on a Miles for Mammogram 5K race, and there were people giving out water bottles and little miniature fruit cups, and this lady had this whole table of bananas and she was just going to get rid of them. So we're like, we'll take them, because I knew I could make banana bread. All right, so we've got the bananas in there, and we're going to mash those up, and then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and we'll mix that in. Well, y'all, I think I have gotten rid of my rotary blender, so I'm going to use my potato masher, and this thing works just fine. You could use a fork as well, but I like using this because it's kind of like using 3 great big huge forks all at one time. It's getting there. It's almost completely smashed up, and that was very quick. And like I said, this is in the smallest of the 3 bowls. And the smaller you mash it up, the easier it will be to cut later, and you won't have big old clumps of fruit in there. Okay, I just added the 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. You could use fresh lemon juice, and that would make it taste really good. And you just mix it all up like this. The lemon juice helps keep the banana fresher so that it doesn't turn, and it also gives it a nice little tart flavor. Just kind of unexpected. I've actually used orange juice when I went, oh no, I was out of lemon juice. It's pretty good too. You just need something citrus, or lime juice. You probably use that as well. There's my banana. Now we're just going to set the banana aside. We're going to use it a little later. So I might not have a rotary beater, but I do have a mixer, and I'm going to use it now. I did have a stand-up mixer, but it burned out right before Christmas too, when I was trying to make all the Christmas goodies a couple of years ago, and I just haven't replaced it. So in the big bowl, and this is why I say it's important to know ahead of time which bowl gets what, because it seems like this would not go in the big bowl, but we're going to start adding to this mixture in a little bit. So in the big bowl, you're going to put 3/4 of a cup of shortening, and the easy way to remember that is 1.5 sticks of butter. Now I have changed the recipe, so really this is my recipe, because they say shortening, but I use butter. I mean, we're talking real butter. Yeah. So there's my husband. He's getting ready to cook our steaks for dinner, and we'll probably have banana bread afterwards. What do you think, honey?
We might.
We might. All right, we'll see. Okay, so like I said, in the bowl, in a large bowl, we're going to put our shortening, which is 3/4 of a cup, 1.5 sticks of butter. That's my recipe, y'all. So there's no copyright infringement, right? And I don't know, it's kind of hard. Oh, what you getting? The steaks? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're gonna put. You're all right. We're gonna. You're crashing my video. As long as you're dressed, that's fine.
Oh, gee.
All right. 1.5 cups. So this is a 1/2 cup. I just bought brand new sugar yesterday because I knew I was going to be doing this. Didn't know I was going to videotape it. Oh, videotape. Man, that's an old reference. I'm telling my age. Okay, that's 1 cup. Now, if I mess up, it's because I'm too busy thinking about you guys, and I'm not busy watching the recipe. So you can later tell me what I did wrong if it doesn't turn out right. All right, there's 3, which makes 1.5 cups. I keep my 1/2 cup measuring scoop in there, and I love these click-clack canisters. Keeps it nice and fresh and tight. And now we're gonna cream this together. Don't you just love creaming butter and sugar. I could just probably eat the whole bowl of butter and sugar. It's so good. We're doing this on medium, and we're gonna do this for probably a couple of minutes, and then we're gonna add some eggs, and we'll beat it again. It'll be about 4 minutes altogether. Okay, now I'm gonna add my eggs. I've got 3 eggs, and when I was younger, I would actually put it in something and then stick it in because I was afraid that I might get a shell. Beat all that until it's very light and fluffy, and it's pretty light and fluffy already. And then we're gonna add the sifted dry ingredients along with some milk. Now, here's where I'm also veering from the recipe slightly because I accidentally bought 1% milk, which we hardly ever drink. And I want it to be a little richer than that, so I'm gonna add a little cream to it. So it's gonna be 3/4 of a cup of milk and cream mixed together because I want it to be a little bit creamier like whole milk is. And yeah, so anyway, so if you're fortunate enough to have a measuring cup that actually says 3/4 of a cup, that's really helpful. So like I said, I'm gonna mix a little bit of milk and I'm going to also put some cream in there. All natural, creamy cream. Ooh, that's gonna be nice and rich. So we just put a little bit of that in and we're gonna mix that. We're just gonna alternate. So you wanna have plenty of liquid in there so that when you add the dry ingredients, and you just beat it after every addition. So you do a little bit of milk, and then you do a little bit of this. Now, if I'm doing this on my stand-up mixer, it's a lot easier because you can just keep on adding one after the other. But I find that sometimes I have better control when I'm using my hand mixer. So, I don't know. You can figure it out. I don't know if you can see what this is doing or not, but see how it's starting to stiffen up. Flour. Mixing. You can use a spoon, by the way. You don't have to use a mixer. You can actually mix this by hand with a spoon. And I guess if my mixer broke down, that's what I'd have to do. I usually start slow when I first put the dry in because otherwise it goes poof and you end up with flour everywhere. Almost done. See, it's starting to look more like bread batter, or bread dough rather, than a cake. But banana bread, when it's done, really is more like a cake. And that's because we're gonna fold in the bananas in just a minute. Let me clean up a little bit and then I'll be right back. Ooh-wee, isn't that looking good? I know you just wanna come right through this video and lick these beaters for me. But they do have raw eggs in them, so like I said, you're not really supposed to do that. I think they make eggs that you can actually eat while they're raw. And maybe if we had our own chickens, we could do that. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I lived on a farm when I was 7, but honestly, I was too young to remember anything. So I wasn't really all that smart as a result of it. Okay, so we're gonna try to get as much of this batter out of here as we can. Here we go. So I've been watching some cooking shows. And I know I'm not doing things right, but I thought I've had a lot of people ask me about my banana bread recipe. Whenever I take banana bread, people just love it. This is the best recipe ever. Okay, all right, now we're ready to fold in our bananas. We're just gonna put them in, and when you fold them, you just kind of make a little dip, and then you just sort of fold it over like this. Just fold it like that. You're not really gonna stir it like you would if it was mixing a batter or something, but you do want to keep folding it over until it's all filled up. So we don't want it to lose its fluffiness. Okay. Let me see. See how big this bowl is and how full it is? That's the reason why I said you need to start with the wet ingredients in here first. Otherwise, you don't have room for everything. This is a big bowl, and it's got everything in it. All right, that's looking really good there. Now we're gonna also put some walnuts in. I forgot to get those out, so I'm gonna get the walnuts, and then I'm gonna chop them all up, and I'm just gonna fold them in. We're just gonna put in about a half a cup or so, yeah. All right, so some of these walnuts didn't get chopped up quite as much as others. I like to chop them really small. That's only a third of a cup, because, I don't know, I think my half cup must be dirty. So there, we'll put a little bit more. And then we'll just fold those in like we did with the bananas. Kind of fold it around. I'm saying y'all because I learned that from Brenda Gantz when she does her cooking shows. I love her. I've heard a lot from her. Okay, now what we're gonna do, got that all mixed up? See what that looks like? I'll show you close up. Oops, don't want it to dump out. Okay, now we've buttered or put oil in this stoneware pan, and I'm just gonna dump this into each of those 4 spots. I usually make 2 loaves of bread out of this, but I'm gonna make 4 tiny loaves, and we'll see how it goes. I'll be back in a minute. I will say putting it into these little pans is harder than putting it into the bigger muffin or bread loaf pans, but we're gonna make it work. It's a little messier, and my husband says he thinks it looks like I have more than 4 here. I'm gonna stick this in the oven at 350 degrees. It's supposed to bake for 1 hour, but because they're smaller, I'm gonna have to watch it closely. I might only do it for 45 minutes, but there's my oven over there. So we're gonna eat dinner and wait for them to bake, and then when they come out, I'll show you what they look like. Thank you. Y'all, I just have to show you these beautiful steaks that my husband cooked. Look at that. Wee, yummy, yummy, yummy. All right, y'all, it's time to test our banana bread and see if it's ready. We're gonna pull it out and we're gonna stick these toothpicks in, and if they come out clean, then that means it's ready. It's been in there for about 50 minutes. As I said, they're smaller, so hopefully we will see. Not quite done yet, so we'll put it back in for another 10 minutes. It takes an hour even if it's the small one, so we'll give it another 10 minutes and see. Be right back. Okay, here it is, and it is done. So, I'm gonna turn off the oven, and let me just grab it here. I will tell you, the stoneware is a bit heavier. Ooh. Oh my. Take a look at that. Let me bring you over here where you can see it better. Look at that. Doesn't that look yummy? So we're gonna let it sit there for 10 minutes. We're gonna let it get cool just for about 10 minutes. And then we're gonna put it on wire racks, and then it will be ready to, well, really you're supposed to let it sit overnight before you cut it, but we're not gonna wait that long.
That ain't happening.
You want some tonight?
I want it while it's hot.
All right. Well, we've managed to demolish 1 whole loaf of bread. I think my husband likes it. Do you like it? It's pretty darn good. Yummy. There you go. This has been Cooking with Nana. I hope my grandkids love it.